Welcome to Tellypathic, your visit to the world of episodic telly with a strong backbone of Star Trek. We're your two hosts who are mad about telly, Mark and Gary. Hi, Gary.
Hey Mark, how's it going, man?
Not bad, not bad. It's been a while since we last did one of these.
Yeah.
Last one was Doctor Who Christmas Carol. Pulling back the curtain, we're in early February now.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah,
been about 4 weeks, I think. It's been a while, but
yeah.
life,
Life gets in the
life.
way. We
And
still
we
managed to watch a
always,
few bits of telly though.
oh yeah, I watch
Uh,
loads of telly. But life always comes before a podcast. That's just the way it is.
yeah,
However, this one was my choice,
yeah,
I want to go back to Star Trek original series because I'm an original series guy. Though I am a next gen guy as well. I am.
yeah. You took us
However,
way back though. You took us to
to
season one,
season one,
TOS.
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I think when I'm going to go back to TOS, I will be. Not every episode. We're not doing that. But what I'll probably be doing is then just sweeping through what I think are the best episodes or ones worth watching, we'll have a fun discussion. Well, we might
Yeah,
do
yeah.
Spock's brain one day. Who knows?
Whoa!
I want to talk about it. The reason I've also read a lot about TOS. I've read the Shatner Star Trek memories and Star Trek movie memories. I've read one of
Right.
Nimoy's memoirs. I haven't read the rest of the cast, but I know enough about Shatner and how the other
Okay.
rest of the cast feel about him to sort of
Yeah,
comment.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
in this
Interesting.
episode, there was this
Yeah,
issue.
yeah. Okay, that'll be interesting
This
insight.
isn't one of those. This isn't one of those. Anyway, we are going back to season one, episode five, The Enemy Within. And if this was a Friends, it'd be the one where Kirk gets split into Jekyll and Hyde or something like
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, First aired, get this, October the 6th, 1966.
Nice.
I was around. I was very little, but I was around when this first aired. Oh God, I'm so old, so old.
Damn,
Um,
brother.
yeah. Now, another one of the reasons I picked this is the only episode of Star Trek original series, and I think maybe the only episode of Star Trek written by Richard Matheson. Richard Matheson, famous for I Am Legend. It's probably his most famous work.
Oh, right.
Incredible
Okay.
Shrinking Man, Hell House, Stir of Echoes. Um, um, it's probably I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one, but never mind. He wrote quite a lot of famous pieces of horror stroke sci-fi. So this is kind of within his wheelhouse, but this is the only episode of Star Trek he did. And what we'll probably talk about, there are some
Interesting.
scenes in this which feel atypical of the rest of the series. Some of the characters are not acting how we would expect them to act in some places. But we'll get to that. So Kirk gets split into two. It's basically Jekyll and Hyde, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
this episode, it's like a mix. You know how like they usually fall into one category or another. This is like a transport accident episode, an intruder on the ship
Ship
episode, and
episode.
a survival episode, like
Yeah,
survival on a planet episode. They kind of did a mix.
yeah.
Yeah, it's quite
And
cool.
actually, the survival on the planet stuff wasn't in the original script he presented. That was added because they felt that they needed to pad the episode a bit. He
Oh,
didn't agree.
interesting.
He felt that they should
Really?
really focus on what was happening on the ship for the whole way.
Very
However,
interesting.
I think what they've done is quite a good addition myself.
Oh, well, yeah, I thought it was one of the best parts of the episode.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything that sets a time constraint or a ticking clock, if you will, is always kind of interesting. I
Yeah.
think someone like Hitchcock said you had a ticking clock to any scene, it adds to the tension, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly what happens here. It starts with them being on a weird little planet that's getting cold. Sulu's just standing there with like a little lap dog. Well, it isn't a dog, but it is a dog. It's a dog
It's a dog, but
disguised
he's
as an
strapped.
alien thing, covered in
Yeah.
fur. You can tell the dog's kind of a bit embarrassed. It's one of those kind of thing,
Yeah. They've duct
but
taped a
it's
unicorn's horn to it and
yeah, and it's got a weird tail thing, and
yeah.
Sulu's holding it a bit like a Pomeranian kind of thing.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so um, is he makes a comment to Kirk, who is down on the planet, about the temperature's dropping. And they're saying for that someone has an accident. So one of the technicians has an accident, cuts his hand, gets covered in this weird iron or sort of dust, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that's right.
that technician gets beamed back, but it causes there's a problem with the transport. It's like they can't get a proper grip on him, and they have to like boost the power just to get him to come through. And he does
Yep.
come through, and he goes straight to sick deck. Um, but then Kirk is the next one transported up, um, and we see
Had
him
similar
kind of
issues.
weakened. Yeah, we see him kind of weakened and helped away from the transport. And he actually says, I think he says, is it Scotty or one of the, I can't remember who it
Scotty,
was.
yeah.
Don't leave the transport deck, but they do because he's helping the captain out. And immediately we get a transported in Kirk, who's evil Kirk. And you can
Yeah.
kind of tell because they've just underlit his face.
Oh my God, the shot is amazing. I burst out laughing
Yeah.
because he's like hunched over, like he's got his back turned to the camera when he teleports in,
Yeah.
and then he sort of turns around, and yeah, he's all like lit under his face, and he looks as evil as possible,
Proper,
and
it's
he's
proper.
proper gurning.
Yeah, it's proper stagecrafty hide. That's how I
Yeah,
feel it is being used. However, I really like this. I think Shatner is really pretty good in this, giving us two quite distinct characters.
yeah, he proper
Um,
like Macbeths it up with
oh
his
yeah, it's proper
yeah,
evil Kirk.
yeah, it's
And
good. It's good stuff.
but he's then straight off. The first thing he does, he goes to um, McCoy and goes Brandy. It's like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, which is nuts. Which is
which is
nuts. And
nuts.
McCoy's like, and then he wanders off with his brandy and goes visits Yeoman Rand. And I mean, this scene seems with Yeoman Rand seemed a bit strong. Even now, it's a bit strong, isn't it?
Even now, it was
It's
strong. It
it
is
was
probably
it's rapey as hell, and
well, it's just a sexual assault, right? And
yeah.
like, I don't remember that. I don't think I've seen that in Star Trek as
I
overt
think
as
they
that.
might have edited that, because I don't remember it being that strong on telly. Or maybe as a kid you don't really understand and you think it's more like a fight. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But like, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's well acted.
yeah, and
But
yeah,
yeah, it's uncomfortable as hell for 1966. Yeah, this is a
and
lot.
it's even more uncomfortable because Grace Lee Whitney was only in the first few episodes, and I found out quite a while later that there was some sort of sexual attack on her from a producer.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
and which
Bloody hell.
traumatized that, and she either left of her own accord or was fired, one or the other.
Oh man,
But
that's
I don't think
horrible.
anyone knew about it.
Because Rand's like she's in a fair few of the
She's in
episodes.
a few of the early ones, but she then just disappears.
Oh right, okay.
And so that makes this even more troubling to watch. To be honest, it's like wow.
Yeah.
And also given Yeoman Rand's reactions through the episode, it's like, now the attack would have been after this episode, but even so, it's just a bit hard. It's a bit hard to watch. Yeah, I was quite shocked how strong it was, and she's kind of been chased around the room. Well, she manages to get out of his grip. He's pinning her down at one point, and you think this is going a bit sideways. This looks wrong.
Mm.
But she manages to get out. But she also scratches his face, doesn't she?
Hmm.
Um, so he's got a
Yep.
scratch down. What side is it? One side. Well, we'll just
It's on
say
his
one.
left cheek, right? And
Left,
he,
left.
yeah, and she manages to get to her door, which automatically opens just as like a
She
crewman's
calls out for
walking by,
help. Yeah,
and
and he,
then Kirk chucks her to the floor and chases him into the hallway.
yeah,
He manages to get to one of like the communicators in the hallway, and he's like, "It's stupid. It's so ridiculous." He like starts saying his name. He's like, "This is technician Davy Wallace down here on," and then he gets attacked, and I'm like, "What?
yeah,
Why did you just say there's an attack happening? What the
yeah.
hell?"
Captain Kurt's gone mental or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. He gets beaten
we also,
up.
Scott calls, is it Kirk and Spock to the transport and says, "Look, I this happened," and basically he's got the dog, and he says, "Look, it's perfectly docile, but look what appeared just after it." And then there's
Yeah.
a mandarin version of the dog, properly baring its teeth and getting angry in this
Hmm.
little box.
Yeah.
And they're kind of they're saying, we can't beam anyone if this is happening. Um, they have to stay down on the planet. So that sets the ticking clock that we're talking about. Basically, the temperature of the planet they've established drops to something like minus 120.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's pretty
uh,
serious.
yeah. So, and they can't boom them up. And I think they also can't get the. I don't know if at this point they've got a shuttle. I can't remember. I'm not sure they even talk about it, but
They don't talk about it in this episode.
no.
I was bringing that up. I was like, where's the shuttle? Do we have
Yeah.
one?
So I assume at this point the shuttle was never even
But we're in season one, so yeah,
season one.
maybe not.
So all they've got is transporters, and the reason I mean, transporters, I always thought were really cool in the show. Uh, but that was just a budget saving thing. They just thought, well, how's just the easiest instead of building big spaceships and things like that, which is the shuttle, I guess. They beam up and down,
Yeah.
and it became a
But
Star Trek thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
it becomes like a thing later on, right? Where like Bones doesn't really trust transporters, right? He
yeah.
prefers the shuttles and stuff like that. But like, yeah, it's not really. I
I
guess it
could
maybe just hadn't established that yet.
I could be wrong, but I do remember there is an episode, and I think it's in season one, where Spock has an away party with a shuttle, and the shuttle gets knocked out for some reason, and they have to contend with violent natives, and Mr. Spock's in command, but
Yeah, that's
people are
right.
questioning him, right?
I remember
I
that
think
episode. Yeah, it's
that
a good
might
one.
be the one where the shuttles start appearing.
Yeah, because they've
Maybe.
got comically large javelins in that episode.
Yeah, and they're like giants as well,
Bouncing and
right?
they're bouncing off
I
the
think
like
they're
hull.
cyclopean kind of race as well. But yeah, so that's the first one where I can distinct, probably the only one I can distinctly remember Shuttle actually
Mm.
in the original series. So basically, we it's this dynamic of Kirk. There's an evil one, but then we start realizing something's missing from the good Kirk, right? He seems really poor at making decisions and being decisive. Um,
Yeah, and Shatner does a good job of it. Like you can
yeah,
tell, like when Spock confronts him, because he says the good doctors said that you walked into the sick bay and demanded brandy and then left. So
yeah,
he asked me to check on you, and he's like, "Oh, I was never there." He's obviously just playing a joke on you. And Spock's kind of satisfied with that. He's like, "Oh, fair enough. That sounds like something the doctor would do, I guess."
yeah. But they don't
But
quite
you can
put together
tell,
the dog thing.
yeah, they don't put it together,
I
which I
haven't put
find
it
is like,
together.
oh, okay, far enough, I guess. But like the way that um I was going to say Picard then the way that Kirk is being is it's not quite as cool as Cucumber as he usually is. He's a
No,
little bit uncertain.
he's a bit
I don't know how he does it, but he
it's a
does a
bit
good job.
old. It's almost like old man syndrome or something, right? It's kind of just vague and
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that, mate. It's your department.
shut up. But yeah, so he's not capable of making decisions quickly and decisively.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Kirk has to sort of talk him through stuff as well. There's also a report where Yeoman Rand sort of says the captain came into my, and explains it. He's saying, "Oh, it wasn't me,
Yeah, they confront
I."
him, right? They're like, "It
He's
was
saying,
you."
look at
Yeah,
my face. Look at my face. He shows both cheeks and says, look, I'm not gone scratched. And they kind of put it together. However, I think Spock sort of suggests we best not say it's you to the.
well, yeah. So that's another moment where you realize something's wrong
Yeah,
because Spock is pretty good, right? He's like logically speaking, the only answer is there's an intruder on board. If
yeah,
we can all admit it can't be this person stood here, so it has to be an intruder. They still don't put it together that it's possibly the transporter
yeah,
accident, which is
yeah.
I thought was a little crazy.
Yeah, a
But
bit
then
slow, bit slow. This is what I was talking about, where the writing doesn't quite gel with what we know about the rest of the series, right?
that's right,
And
yeah,
you
and the
have to
rest of the
forgive it because it's
characters.
only episode 5 of season 1. However, I feel
They
like
figure it out way
the
earlier than
writing,
yeah.
the right. I think Gene Roddenberry usually would do some script doctoring and make sure it feels more gel. But they were probably finding their feet still, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But Kirk says, "Oh, I'll tell the crew everything that's happened because I feel like they deserve it, like they're a good crew." And
yeah,
Spock's like, "What?"
no,
It's
no,
like maybe we shouldn't. Like we need to obviously find the intruder, but like we can't openly talk about like the captain doing sexual assault on someone, right?
yeah.
He doesn't
Um,
say that outright, but he says something. It's
he
kind of
basically
weird.
says your crew's got to believe in you, right?
Yeah, there's
Um,
some interesting like takes on leadership in this episode. Like there's like they can't see you as vulnerable in any way. That'll lose trust, and you'll lose command. That kind of like old Navy captain kind of thing that Star Trek's kind of lost now, but was
yeah,
very obvious in like Picard and Kirk's time.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
Archers as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Sorry.
and Janeway's probably. But I
Yeah. Well, that
wouldn't
was
know
different.
because
That
I
was a
don't know.
different.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
You need
haven't
to
seen
watch
them.
it. There's a different captain situation that, and then
Yeah.
Cisco doesn't give a shit about his post, so
Yeah, yeah, that's
he
right.
just does
He's
whatever.
constantly either too chill or too angry, Cisco.
Yeah. He's just like I don't care.
There's
I
no
don't.
middle ground with Cisco, is there? Okay. He
Sorry.
also, they say it's an intruder who looks like me, but he's got scratches on his face. Next minute, we see Evil Kurt hear this and start ranting. I'm the captain, smashing up the
Oh
place.
yeah, I thought it was
But
great.
then he finds some makeup and he kind of rubs it on so you can't
Well,
see the
he's
scratches.
in Yeoman Rand's
Oh
quarters,
yeah, but
isn't
she's
he?
not there. She's
She's
not
not
there.
there. So again, he's like already like he's fixated on this. Like
Yeah, it's not
he's being
good,
a
is
creep.
it?
And so yeah, he's using her makeup kit,
Yeah.
which
And
she
he
was using
immediately
before he
bumps
assaulted her.
into
Yeah.
another one of the guards, and he says, so and so, can I see your phaser?"
Yeah, he knows their name, right? He
Yeah,
calls them out
he
by
knows the
name.
name. So
Yeah.
he basically says, can I see your phaser?" And just as the bloke, he doesn't even give it to
He blinks, right? He
before.
blinks and then he says, "Yes, sir." Like it's a moment of what? Okay. And
And
then
then the evil Kirk kind of just does knocks him out, right? Just knocks him out.
yeah,
Um,
it takes his face and he goes, "How's your week?" And the guy's like, "Oh yeah," and then he clonks him on the head.
Plonks him on the edge. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh okay."
Yeah. So, good Kirk, they kind of work out he's in engineering. So Spock and Kirk, good Kirk, let's say good Kirk, go down to
Yeah.
engineering, and he is kind of horny. This is where we start getting shots of a body double for Kirk because they need who's
Yep.
not the best match.
They did an okay job.
I
I
mean, the
was
hair was
looking.
different, and
Yeah, they did an okay job. Like they tried to like hide it with lighting and
yeah, there's some split screen, they obviously
did they?
filmed it at different things because there's one point where Kirk's lying on the bad Kirk's on the floor and lying unconscious on the floor, and the good Kirk's looking over him. But that's split screen, they just
Yeah,
film one
yeah.
half and then film the other on the same.
Did they put mascara on Evil Cook?
Um,
I feel like his eyes were dark
sometimes,
as yeah, like he looked
sometimes,
like
often it was just underlighting, but sometimes they did put
they
mascara.
definitely
But you
did
know
something
what?
to his
Sometimes
face. Yeah.
Shatner had mascara on anyway.
Yeah, I know. That was the thing. Because I
Uh,
was like, that's a thing that happens. So I was like,
yeah.
is this on
So,
purpose to intentionally make him look evil, or is this just, just
yeah.
Shatner? It's
So
hard to
basically, the good Kirk finds the evil Kirk, and they're talking, but the evil Kirk's like, "I don't need you," and all this. But Spock does the nerve pinch on him, knocks him out.
yeah, Vulcan death
Which
grip.
I think is the first instance of the nerve pinch in Star Trek.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I can't remember the episode's
Well, it says
fourth
here
or
on
two or one.
Wikipedia,
Oh, he's
the
got it
font
up.
of
He's
all
got it up.
knowledge. No, I thought I'd read it somewhere. Hold on. Here we go. Leonard
Uh,
Nimoy, unhappy with the part of the script that called for Spot to hit Evil Kirk on the head with a phaser, suggested the idea of a Vulcan nerve pinch. The
Genius.
director had a difficult time understanding the idea, but William Shatner helped demonstrate Nimoy's concept. So there you go. So
Genius.
yeah.
And
So
thus
that's
was invented a piece of law that never left. Love
no,
it.
exactly. And even used the comedy effect in one of the films. Old Bones tries to do, and in Free Star Trek Free, that movie, he tries to do a nerve pinch on someone. He can't do it. Um, yes, because he's
Yeah,
kind
very
of
cool.
possessed by Spock, right?
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
spoiler for Star Trek Free. Yeah.
Oh my God, you spoiled Star Trek 3. The listeners are going to be up in arms on that one, man.
Yeah. Okay. So they, I think there's a realization that Kirk's abilities are getting worse and worse, and they've got old evil Kirk strapped down, and like Kirk just doesn't know, can't. It's like in a mental fog, right? And Spock's like, "Do you want to relinquish command?" It's almost like Spock wants to be the captain, which is very unlike Spock, isn't it?
Well,
Very.
I will say this. Later on in the series, there are moments when Spock takes command because it makes sense. And
Yeah.
like this is one of them. Like they identify that the man he's some inexplicably split into two entities. I don't understand why he doesn't take command very quickly, especially since
It should have happened, shouldn't it?
he's like cognitive he's in some kind of cognitive decline. They don't fully understand it.
Yeah, but they
He
know
can't
that
make
he's
decisions.
yeah, they know it's split, and they've got the dogs that are split too, right?
Yeah, and so they're in this weird spot, and I'm like, well, Spock would just take command, right? Like this is crazy. What? And then they're like asking him, what are we going to do about the guy stuck on the planet? And we just established he's struggling to make decisions. It's like the hardest decision of all time.
Yeah. What
Yeah, it's
also
interesting.
there was a very odd scene where Kurt's just sitting on his own in like a meeting room,
Yeah,
and
yeah, he
Sulu
is.
radios in and said, "Any chance of some coffee or something like that?" He goes, "Oh no, I've given everyone the afternoon off. I'm manning the ship. We're working on it." And it's a very relaxed scene on his part while Sulu's freezing to death, right?
Freezing to death in his pajamas on
In
this
his
like
pajamas with a
minus 200
tiny
degree
little blanket.
planet.
Because they do say, I was thinking, why don't they transport stuff down? And they actually say, oh no, we transported down
Heaters.
heaters, but they split into two and neither worked. Um, they
Yeah.
do say that, so it's like,
Which I
so
thought
they
was
know they've
interesting, but I
got
was like, how does that work for like
non-organic, yeah,
yeah, yeah, I guess yeah. I don't know.
yeah.
If we create a
Half the
duplicate machine,
components, half the who knows, who knows.
who knows?
They reuse. Just got to say they reuse this concept in a very funny way in Red Dwarf, in an episode I think it was called Angels and Devils or Angels and Monsters or something like that. Monsters and Angels, where there's an evil Red Dwarf, and they're just all the same, but they meet evil versions of themselves. Very funny
Yeah.
episode that one.
Dude, we
Very
could do
funny.
Red Dwarf one time.
Yeah, we could. Well, comedy's always difficult to talk about because you
Yeah.
end up
Just
just
do the jokes.
doing the jokes.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, they realise they've got evil Kirk and they don't know what they're going to do, and both of them are sort of deteriorating. What we're
Yeah.
seeing though is the good Kirk is, while his faculties for making decisions, he's not scared in any way, right? Whereas the
Yeah.
evil Kirk, while he's aggressive, is terrified.
Yeah, they're like putting it together that like they're like your like primal instincts that make up a person
Yeah,
is split into like he says good and evil, but he doesn't really mean that, right? It's like there are like base instincts like lust and
yeah,
aggression and all that stuff. But then he was saying that like it's the good Kirk, quote unquote, has like intelligence,
yeah. And can
but and
reason
compassion
better
and
and does that.
love,
Yeah.
but
And
is
Mr.
lacking those like yeah. It's an interesting
Yeah.
take. I don't
Mr. Spot has an interesting thing. He goes, do we have a unique uh, um,
scientific opportunity to
here
explore
to
the human
explore
mind.
the
Yeah,
human mind? And he even starts talking about, I know what this is like. I am from two worlds. You know, I have a human half and a Vulcan half, and which is again not something Spock would ever choose to talk about in other episodes voluntarily. He does talk about it eventually, in the films more than anything, I guess. But
yeah, yeah.
he's loath to talk. He's embarrassed. If we talk about a mock time, he's embarrassed
Yeah.
about those aspects of human and Vulcan and stuff like that. But here he talks about it friendly again. I see that Richard Matheson come in, giving some ideas, probably shown a couple of episodes, and he writes this, and they run with it, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just atypical. It's just atypical. Um, so they think they know how to reverse it, fix the transporter. So what they do is they put the boat. Basically, there's a scene of Scotty trying to grab the mad dog, which made me laugh.
Yeah.
And they managed to tranquilize it and put it with the good, nice, placid, tranquil dog, and put them through the transporter. Put them back on, so they're reunified. Dog's dead. Dog's dead. And so
Dog's
it's
dead,
like,
Dave.
so Spock's like, maybe the animal brain couldn't handle the resynthesis, whereas the human brain might be able to, by intellect, overcome the shock of being reintegrated. But
Yeah.
McCoy's like, no, it might kill him, right?
Yeah, and he's like, these are all
We
hypotheses. He's
don't
just
know.
guessing.
We
Like, it
don't
could
know.
just kill him. Yeah, it
But
could be the
they're
transporter that killed him. Yeah,
but
exactly.
they're under the gun. They know that basically, um, McCoy does announce this Kirk's dying. The evil one's dying, or I presume both dying, right? So they got to reintegrate them anyway.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing, right? The thing I don't fully get about this episode is they talk about this transporter issue, right? Where they're like, there's two choices. Either we do nothing and Kirk's gonna die because the two halves are dying because they're not together or whatever. All of the men on the planet will die because it's going to take more than a week to fix the transporter, and so they're like properly, so they'll all die on the planet. Or we gamble the transporter and it will put Kirk back together. But I
Yeah,
don't understand how that solves the problem of
no,
the guys on
they
the planet
no,
dying. Because
they never for a minute talk about how the transporter's been fixed.
yeah, it's
Suddenly started working
ridiculous.
again. It's like, has all the dust gone or something? I don't
So
know.
they give us this like they give us this dilemma, but they don't actually tell us the half. They don't tell us half of the how the dilemma would be
They
resolved.
don't tell
There's
us
no
what's
choice.
fixed the transporter. All they do is they put the dogs in. They somehow put the dogs in and it reintegrates and they
Yeah, they
die.
talk about how to resolve this, like the two entities mixing together, but they don't actually say how if they fix that, that would help them get the guys off the planet too. It doesn't
Yeah.
really. I
No.
don't think. I think I
Uh,
missed it, or it was not there.
no, I don't. I watched it twice and I didn't see them explain how the transporter suddenly started working at all. It's just
Because there's that really funny scene where they do fix
wizards
it.
did it.
Kirk
Right?
comes back and he says, "Get those men off the planet." Like
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? How? It's still
Yeah.
broken. What do you
Yeah,
mean?"
yeah. Stop it. Yeah, so but there is a scene where the evil Kirk and the good Kirk are alone in the sick bay. Yeah, because why not? Why not? Why not leave
Yeah,
those two people alone? And the evil Kirk's going, I'm getting weak. I'm not going to fight you anymore. But it's just a front. He just starts punching out good Kirk. Then he goes and pretends to be good Kirk in the on the bridge. He sort of says,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, we're leaving orbit. Those men, we can't save them. We're leaving." And everyone's like,
Uh,
Spock's like,
a bit of a precursor to Mirror Mirror, right?
yeah. Oh, on the way there, he also meets Janice, Yeoman Rand with the
Yeah.
scratches on his face. Oh, I'm really sorry. There was a transporter accident, and there was an evil Kirk, and he was the one that came to you. And look, he's even scratched my face, so I look like him. Can I come to your room later to explain it
Yeah.
to? And she's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
guess.
not looking happy about it. It has to be said.
Yeah.
Um, and then she's thinking, no, it's him in it. But
Mm.
anyway, she doesn't say that. And then he starts kicking off about no, I I'm the captain. We're leaving. And then the good Kirk and McCoy turn up on the bridge, and he starts ranting and raving and throwing people about, and he's it looks like he's gonna zap good Kirk. I don't know if you noticed there was a goof. They actually showed a close up of the evil Kirk, proper underlit and snarly faced, but the scratch was on the right side.
Oh, I missed
You
it.
did, you
That's
missed
funny.
that. Yeah, really proud. It's like, oh, they got the scratch. And all. So,
Whoops.
but they basically get him again and put them both in. The good Kirk does actually finally come to a decision. Yeah, you're going to put us through. We've got to put us through. Puts them
Yeah.
through immediately. Back to Kirk. It's back to normal. Doesn't die. Beam names are burn up. Right. Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
And
Get them
then
off the planet. Job done. Like what?
yeah. So there we go.
No banter, really.
Okay.
No banter at the end of the episode
Well,
either.
there kind of is. There's a really
It's
off-color
it's
joke
bad.
with Spock with Rand saying, "Was there something you find attractive? You know, did you?
There
Was
was,
this?
yeah,
Did
I don't
you
know
miss
what
there?
they were
Was that,
getting at
are
with
you
that.
saying, do you like a bit of rape? Was that?
Well,
It's kind
yeah,
of
that's kind of like
what?
what he's implying, right? He's like, I was like, what are you, what? What
Ah,
the fuck?
that is one of the now Star Trek's actually pretty good at this, but that is one of those lines that has not dated well at all.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they're so, like you say, they're pretty well ahead of their time
Yeah, I mean, there's not often on a on a
on a TOS episode.
TOS would you need this program was made and reflects the sort of values and opinions of the time. You know, one of those kind of
Yeah,
warnings.
yeah.
That line kind of did because it was just
Yeah,
wrong, man.
it was bad. Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah,
that got out of the scriptwriter's room, man.
yeah. I think old Gene Roddenberry weren't paying attention on this one for some
Yeah,
for these odd lines.
and that was like the closing line, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like Kirk sits down in the chair and he's in command again, and he says, on our way, Yeoman, or whatever, and they fly away. But like, yeah, that was a very strange line.
Yeah. It was a little jarring. However, overall, I really, really enjoyed this episode. You've seen it before, right?
Yeah,
More than
yeah,
once.
yeah.
Yeah, we've both seen all these ones before. Very solid, solid episode. I'd say it's probably the top 10 of TOS episodes.
Really, I
Yeah.
don't put it that high.
Yeah. Oh, well,
That's
tell
interesting.
me 10 others that are better than this.
Well, yeah,
Go
that's
on
fair.
then.
I will
No.
say though, my favorite parts of this episode are obviously the dilemma, right? I love a dilemma on our men are, which feels somewhat realistic from space travel. Our men are trapped on a planet and our transporter doesn't work and we don't have a shuttle. How are we going to resolve this? I thought that was interesting. They never actually solved that problem. They just, like you said,
Nah.
wizards did it,
Wizards
which
did
is
it. Yeah.
fair enough. The other thing I liked was Evil Kirk, that like idea.
Yeah. And
Um,
also Shatner's performance as both versions,
Shatner's
right?
performance. But again, I think Mirror Mirror did all of that, but better.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the one thing I like about this episode that's like an interesting, the thing I like about Star Trek, or one of them, is these concepts that you can think about, like how, that fantasy of like, right, well, if a man did get split in half, and his like emotions were like split, or you can't, they're not emotions, are they? They're like
They're
traits.
primal. Well,
Yeah, it's a really,
the evil Kirk's the primal one, and the good Kirk's the cerebral one, or
yeah, or
something.
something like that.
But
Like
they
it's
can
an
both
interesting
reason, but
concept.
not very well. It's interesting that the good Kirk actually asked the evil one to sort of reason and think
And
about
that
it.
kind of like levels them out. But
Yeah, and
yeah,
calms him down a bit. Yeah,
yeah, it is an interesting concept. Just like, okay, how would you do that? How do they work? And I think they did an okay job. I think it's a very difficult concept to get across, and I think they did it.
yeah. It is very Jekyll and Hyde, isn't it? That's the thing.
It is, but it's more than that, right? Like it's not just,
Yeah, because he has to face himself, and talk to him.
yeah, he has to face himself, and like it isn't like you know, because obviously like Jekyll and Hyde, they're not actually two different people. They're like, I get to be a bit rowdy, right? And I don't. Whereas in this, it's like I have core character traits that I have and that I can't physically have the other side of it. It was really like, yeah, like I say, really strange concept. Which I
Yeah,
don't think you'd see outside of Star Trek, to
yeah.
be honest. That's very cool
I've
for that.
just noticed here on Wikipedia, and there's some really interesting. I don't often go into much detail on like how it's judged. I occasionally talk about the different reviews, but there's quite some interesting sort of reviews on this episode that we might say what or not. We'll see.
Okay, okay.
Right, the AV Club gave the episode an A minus, saying that the last act somewhat redundant. I don't agree with that. I think that the last act isn't redundant at all. And said Shatner's acting as Kirk's good half was very solid stuff. I think both versions were solid. He was playing it in pantomime, but that was needed. The
I don't
thing
mind it.
is, people who slag off Shatner forget how much this TOS relies on his energy, right?
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
mind it at all. I
yeah,
thought that yeah, he was crazy.
yeah.
And that was that was yeah, we've never
If
seen anything like that. I
if
thought
you
it was
want a
good.
comparison, go and watch the menagerie, the cage, the one where Pike's the captain compared to Kirk. Low energy, man. That one's a low
Yeah.
energy one compared to Kirk. Okay, to go on. Um, the IGN ranked Enemy Within as the seventh best episode of the original series.
Wow.
Um, this
That's crazy.
Empire ranked this the 15th out of top 50. This was in 2016, so not that long ago, right? Empire ranked
10
this as
years.
the 15th best out of the top 50 episodes of all 700 Star Trek episodes. 15! I wouldn't have put it that high out of all
Wow.
of Star Trek, but yeah, they put it there. It'd be top 50, I'd say, but not 15th. That seems a bit nuts.
Hmm.
Radio Times, again in 2016, said the moment where Evil Kirk says, "I'm Captain Kirk," as the
Yeah.
10th best moment in all Star Trek film and TV.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, they felt that Shatner's acting performance completely carries this early first season episode. Um,
Interesting. I
now,
thought, yeah, I thought it was quality and like, yeah, what he's being asked to do, I think is very difficult, and I think he did a really good job. It worked. I thought everyone was pretty solid.
yeah, yeah,
Like
they all
I
were.
didn't nobody took me out of it at all. I was completely like with all of the characters. They all seemed like you said. There were some things that like later versions of that character we know wouldn't do, but it's episode 5, season 1, so you just let it go. Great,
The
great.
uncharacteristic Spock stuff that I've said is uncharacteristic. I thought was very solid. I really liked it
Yeah,
personally.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
This one is a surprise for me. This is Fatherly, which is a parents kind of ranking site, right? Ranked.
Okay.
Get this. Ranked this episode as one of the top 10 episodes for kids to watch.
No, no, you don't know what
No,
you're talking
I
about.
don't think so.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I wonder what they think of what is it, Matter of Honor? If
Yeah.
they think that of
Well.
this one. Anyway, yeah, we won't get to that. We'll cover that one day.
Oh God.
Let's see if they picked any. Oh,
Yeah.
Pop Matters in 2018 said this was the eighth best episode of the original series. Praised Shatner for his nuanced yet over the top performance for as both characters
Yeah.
depicting an extraordinary range of emotions.
Yeah, and I think I'd agree with all of that. I think that's fair. I
Yeah,
think the thing for me is the story, and listeners of the podcast will know it doesn't quite hold together.
no. I mean,
It's
it doesn't. It missed
it,
the scene explained into transporter fix.
and
They
there's
should
so
never have
much.
said there's a week, it'll take a week to fix. That's
Yeah,
just
there's so
silly.
much of Star Trek which is a good episode, and the story holds together that by default this can't be better than that for me. The acting's great, but yeah, the story has to make sense. And it just kind of doesn't. They just go, that's not a problem, end the episode. And I can't forgive it for that,
Yeah. Yeah,
personally.
fair enough. I won't go through all of it. I'll go through the last one because it's got an interesting point. But the rest of it is essentially this was a great episode, or Kirk. This is one of the best Kirk episodes. Various ones, but there's one here that I think is quite important, which is 2019 Comic Book Resources ranked this episode as one of the top 8 most memorable episodes of original Star Trek.
It
That
is
we can agree, I think.
it is memorable.
It
Yeah,
is memorable, right?
yeah, you know
But yeah,
what this
like
episode's
you said,
about.
Mirror Mirror does a lot of the same, yeah, same
Yeah.
elements. If you really want a weird comparison of Shatner performances, if you compared this one to the very final episode of TOS, which is Turnabout Intruder, which is amazing in that you cannot believe it because it's Shatner playing an evil woman that's possessed Shatner who's pretending to be Kirk. If
Yes,
that makes sense.
that's right. I
And
was
it's
just
like,
checking you got it right because
whoa.
yeah, it's yes, I think that's correct.
So possessed, but the possessor is trying to pretend to still be Kirk, but it's a woman who's a
Yes.
bit mad. So,
Yeah, and he nails it.
yeah, he
That's the
does
crazy
because
thing. He
it's
gets it right.
Shatner. It's
Yeah.
Shatner. Right? Yes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I've really enjoyed this episode. You don't agree it's a top 10 of the TOS, though, right?
I don't think
I,
so.
I
I
don't
think
think
there's
it's
enough.
top five. That is going way too far. I think
Mm.
there's five other. I'm certain I could easily find five other episodes, and I feel like I could probably find six, seven, eight other episodes that are better than this. But I don't
Yeah,
think I can find 10 better than
I think
this.
I could. I think I could push this out of the top 10.
Okay. Well, for me, we when we discussed the mock time for me is number one, right? The
Right.
city
Yeah.
on the edge of thrill. We don't go thrill, but as we go through it, maybe once we've got enough episodes, we should rank the ones that we've covered so far. Our
Yeah.
personal rankings, and so we
Yeah.
could. But let's leave that until we've got a good 10, 12 episodes
Yeah, I
of
think so.
original series, and we could do the same with next gen when we get to that many of that, and maybe even the X Files if we get to many of that. But
Yep.
yeah,
100%.
solid episode, solid episode.
Yeah, really solid episode. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
if you've not seen it, if there's any listeners who haven't watched this episode, you got to watch it just to see Shatner.
what I would say is I
I think
think
it's
this does
fantastic.
need a trigger warning. You know,
Yeah, there is a scene of
people
rape
that
with,
have yeah,
it's
that's a triggering scene.
attempt. It's an attempted rape, right?
Yeah. The,
Um,
I think you said you don't remember it. I don't remember it. Now it
no,
could be we watched it as kids, so
and
you
we
don't
protected
quite
our brains. Yeah, they
realise.
just forget
Well,
to.
no, it's more like, oh, are they just fighting? You don't
Yeah,
quite understand the impact of what's going on.
yeah.
Or did they may have edited it. I couldn't believe
Again,
they edited it
I
down.
watched it fairly recently, right? It must have been last year. I
Yeah.
watched it, and only thing I remembered from this episode was Shatner eating the scenery. So,
Yeah.
you remember those memorable bits, and I guess you really do forget the dark bits because, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
very
feel like
tonally off for Star
it
Trek.
could basically they could have jumped from him starting the attack to her running round behind the painting and then scratching his face, and not have the bit where he pinned her to the floor. That could have
Well, yeah,
fairly easily been cut from the episode, right?
again, I think it's clear in Mirror Mirror, right? There's implications to some of the relationships on board
Yes.
but it's implied, and it's I think that suits Star Trek from that perspective. This was very on the screen,
Yeah. And
which
surprisingly so.
felt
It's like,
tonally off. Yeah,
wow, I find it hard to believe sponsors would have put out with that when this was broadcast. You know what I mean? In
yeah,
America, but yeah.
yeah, interesting one.
Ah,
But yeah, so yeah, that's
well,
a fair trigger warning, actually. Yeah, bit of a
mm.
trigger. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Any last thoughts? We'll wind it up.
yeah. Look, I think it's a good episode. I think it's yeah. It bugs me. It bugs me when they get
It's
like Star
because
Trek's so technically
you're not
good.
happy with Wizards did it, are you? You're just not happy
I
with
can't stand it. I can't stand it sometimes. It just drives me crazy, dude.
them. I don't
Um,
care.
and when you get like you get those amazing moments with Shatner, and you have this cool concept of a man like splitting in two, like his traits, and then you get right at the end, I just get them off the planet, job done.
Yeah.
Oh, just fix it. Come on.
It was so easy to fix. You cut the line about taking a week to fix it, and you have a scene where it says, I think I fixed it. That's it.
And you
That's
just
all
know,
you need to
you
do.
just know, right? If it's TNG, it's Geordie and Data solving the teleporter issue.
Yeah.
And you know you'd get a satisfying solution to it, and they would fix it at the last second.
Yeah, I think you're
Do you know what
thinking
I
of
mean?
TNG with rose-colored, rose-tinted glasses there, mate. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
maybe.
wizards did it. Technobabble in TNG too. Let's face
Yeah,
it.
100%.
Oh, let's change the laws of physics. Yeah, we could do that if we do this.
Would it be possible? Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Yeah, there's a lot of
There'd be in a
that.
boardroom meeting. Yeah, if we
Yeah,
just turn
let's have
physics
a
off for five
meeting.
seconds, it'll give us a split chance to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Okay, all right. Let's. So I think that about winds up this episode. So to all our listeners, peace and long life.
Live long and prosper.